The royal family have experienced unprecedented health issues in the past week, with King Charles, Princess Kate and Fergie, the Duchess of York, all announcing worrying health news. Sky News All Stars Piers Morgan, Peter Stefanovic and Russell Myers take a deep dive into the latest ailments which have struck down the royal family. The world was shocked when not one but two senior royals announced hospitalisations for health issues last week. Princess Kate's health concerns are shrouded in mystery, which has caused many to be very concerned. The princess underwent planned abdominal surgery, which is the extent of the information provided by Buckingham Palace. Many are concerned about the severity of the illness, as the princess will be staying in hospital for 2 weeks following surgery and won't be fit to return to public service until after Easter, requiring several months' recovery, says the Daily Mirror's royal editor, Russell Myers.
Information was dripping out yesterday. A bombshell statement, first of all, from Kensington Palace, and then followed, as you rightly said, by another one from Buckingham Palace about the King and his prostate exam next week. But first of all, Princess Kate is in hospital where she'll stay for the next 10 to 14 days. And we're told it was planned abdominal surgery. She will have a 3-month recovery, which does seem like an awful long period of time. She's cancelled engagements. Everything has been sort of wiped off the slate for the next few weeks and months. No foreign tours, especially for her and for William for the current period. But I'm told she's doing okay at the moment. So, sending her our best wishes.
The editor of Spiked Online agrees, saying the length of recovery has raised huge concerns about Kate Middleton's health.
One of those things where, on the one hand, they're obviously trying to ensure that Kate enjoys a certain level of privacy, but at the same time, in the social media age and in the 24-hour news cycle, there's going to be a lot of speculation. And what we've got does sound quite serious, as you say. Going to be in hospital for a fortnight, out of royal duties until Easter, it looks like. And whilst they made a point of saying it's non-cancerous, something with that kind of recovery time and without any kind of extra detail about what it is that's actually taking place is naturally going to create huge concern. So aside from anything else, just a huge amount of concern on a human level for these individuals. But of course, it being the royal family takes on that extra level of significance, doesn't it?
Sky News All-Star Piers Morgan, together with Dr. Mark Siegel, add they have concerns that something went wrong in Princess Kate's surgery due to the length of time required to recover.
This looks altogether more serious, and the fact we're not being told what it is suggests there's something more serious going on. For someone of 42 and otherwise in very good health, to be in hospital for up to 2 weeks and then have basically 3 months off work, what does that tell you this might be?
I'm concerned about this. I like the point that Sarah just made, that it was planned, but what does planned mean? I believe them when they say it's not cancer, so that's a very, very good point. Could it be a benign tumor? Could it be a hernia? Could it be a gynecological procedure? Could it be related to... She had 3 children in 5 years, which is a lot, but she was out there saying, I used hypnotherapy for this. So now she's relying on privacy, and that makes me concerned. But Piers, almost every single abdominal surgery I can think of that's not an emergency is done through a scope these days or a robot, and you're home in a day. So I'm concerned.
So what could it be?
I think something might have gone wrong. I'm worried about a complication. I'm worried about an infection. She went in there, maybe something happened she wasn't anticipating, and 2 to 3 months of recovery implies that there's been something major here. So it may not have been a planned major surgery, but how do we know an infection didn't occur? How do we know a complication didn't occur? She's going to be fine. I have a strong feeling she'll be fine, but the longer-term recovery concerns me that something went wrong.
The highest-ranking royal, King Charles, also released less serious but equally as worrying health news, with the monarch scheduled to undergo surgery for a benign and large prostate, says Sky News All-Star Piers Morgan.
From a medical perspective, Charles is obviously a more straightforward situation. He's a man in his 70s. He's got an enlarged prostate. That's not an uncommon condition for men of that age. But the procedure itself, he is the monarch. Will he be put under for this, and what will happen?
Absolutely. And by the way, Sarah said it might have happened precipitously. What usually happens is these symptoms accrue over many months or years. Over the age of 70, 80% of men have enlarged prostates. They don't all need procedures. But when the medications fail and it's not stopping it so that you get an easy flow, you have a procedure.
And it's all about urine flow with an enlarged prostate.
Exactly. And if it doesn't, if it's suspended the flow or it interferes with the flow, you may have a procedure. Usually these days, Piers, we're using a green laser, which actually is quite a small way to go about it. It's not a big open procedure. It's through the urethra, but as Sarah just said, it can work and you're done with it in an hour. Maybe you're home the next day. To your point, though, it is done under general anesthesia. Right. Generally, propofol, which everybody's heard about. That's the Michael Jackson drug. We use that for colonoscopies, for any procedure, but also ketamine. So
ketamine,
propofol plus ketamine is the usual.
Are we going to have King Charles in ketamine storm? Is that the headline next?
I hope not. But he will probably go.
Why ketamine? What does that?
Well, because it puts you under more.
Right.
Propofol is just a milder, lighter anesthesia. But again, this is an actual procedure.
I thought ketamine was an elephant tranquilizer.
Initially, absolutely. You have that right. Back in the 70s, that's what they started for. You're literally evaporating part of the prostate with this. The front part that's pinching on the urethra. You're literally using the laser to evaporate it.
And if you don't have that procedure, what happens ultimately?
Well, after a while, the medications fail, and you would have to have an open procedure, which again is the old scalpel method. We're through with that now. This is a miracle step forward.
Will it have any side effects going forward after he's had the procedure?
For a few days after, you might have some burning when you urinate, some hesitancy when you urinate, a little bit of pain, but then it gradually responds over a few days. Not like what we're hearing for the princess.
And in more concerning news, fresh reports of a third royal battling health issues have surfaced. Fergie, the Duchess of York, was diagnosed with malignant melanoma after having moles removed and biopsied. This fresh blow comes after a battle with breast cancer for the Duchess, says Sky News All-Star Peter Stefanovic.
In breaking news, Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, has been diagnosed with skin cancer 6 months after being diagnosed with breast cancer. Spokesperson for the Duchess released a statement saying following her diagnosis with an early form of breast cancer this summer, Sarah, Duchess of York, has now been diagnosed with malignant melanoma. A dermatologist asked that several moles were removed and analysed at the same time as the Duchess was undergoing reconstructive surgery, and one of those has been identified as cancerous. She's undergoing further investigations to ensure it's been caught in the early stages.
Piers Morgan, together with Talk TV royal editor Sarah Hewson, say the announcements of senior royals taking time off due to major health issues is unprecedented and seems rushed.
Sarah, let's get to the royal story aspect of this. I can't remember the last time there were two announcements like this back to back, both supposedly for planned procedures, but it all seemed a bit rushed out to me. What's your take on this?
Yeah, and I suppose it depends what they mean by planned, doesn't it, Piers? We're told that the Princess of Wales wasn't rushed into hospital. This isn't something that occurred over the course of the weekend and has then led to her being hospitalised this week, but we don't know for how long it has been planned. In the King's case, he started to feel symptoms. He then saw a doctor earlier on this week and he received his diagnosis today, and that led to the announcement from Buckingham Palace that he was going to undergo a procedure next week. Now, it's not ideal, is it, for them to have to make two major announcements about the most senior member of the royal family and the second most senior female member of the royal family within an hour and a half of each other. Now, Buckingham Palace stressing that what the King is to undergo next week is very much routine. It is something that many, many men of his age will undergo, and he will undergo it for a short period of time. He'll have a short period of recuperation where engagements will be cancelled. But because of his symptoms, he's actually had to cancel engagements that were due to take place tomorrow and Friday. A much more serious case for the Princess of Wales, because while this was planned surgery and we're told it was successful, a 10 to 14-day stay in hospital, followed by 2 to 3 months of recuperation, tells us that this was major surgery for the Princess of Wales. And we've got the Prince of Wales, William, her husband, also now cancelling engagements and taking time off work to be at his wife's side and also looking after their 3 young children. So a significant impact on the royal family and their ability to go about their duties.
Piers Morgan also asked Sarah Hewson what happens in the event that the senior royals are all out of action.
Sarah, where does this leave us if King Charles is unconscious and William is, looking after his kids? And I mean, do we start heading down the list of people if there's some duty that the monarch has to perform? What actually happens here? We're kind of into uncharted territory a bit.
Well, look, there's a very set procedure in place should a monarch be incapacitated due to ill health for a short period of time. And if the king does have to undergo a general anaesthetic and is unconscious, then the councillors of state would be called upon should they be needed. Now, the list of the councillors of state is the monarch's spouse, so Camilla, and the next 4 in line to the throne. Traditionally. Now, that list throws up a few problems, as you've alluded to there, Piers, because it's the Prince of Wales, who we know is looking after his wife and children. Then it's Prince Harry, who's in California. The next on the list, the Duke of York.
He won't be interim king, will he?
No, he won't. The Duke of York, Princess Beatrice.
He'll stay here.
But in planning for an occasion like this, the royal family decided that it might be pertinent to add a couple more onto the list. So we now have the Princess Royal, who is also a Councillor of State, and the Duke of Edinburgh. So should they be required, they could be called on. But I think it's highly likely that the King will only be out of action for a very short period of time. And while he's not conducting public duties, he'll still be receiving his red boxes. He'll still be able to make decisions as and when they're required.
Okay. And despite the years of drama and scandal between Prince Harry and his immediate family, the wayward prince has finally reached out to wish his father and sister-in-law best wishes at this difficult time.